And that intro still really reminds me of the start of a Mega Man level. All right, over on the left side of the map, we have our red Terran from the team, Slayers. His name means Prince. He is... TaeJa. He's the color red, so if he makes a Hellion, would that be Prince's little red Corvette?
Yes.
That was a Prince joke.
Yes, it would.
All right. Hopefully someone got that. All right, on the right side of the map, recently gaining a lot of fans from his performance in IPL, he is...
He beat MMA, Ryung, and Boxer in best of series at IPL.
That's right. So he was the person everyone was calling the Slayer's Slayer.
Yeah.
And here he is going up against the Slayer's player, first game.
Ooh.
So TaeJa has some chance to get revenge.
TaeJa does have very good Terran versus Zerg, though, by the way. I actually just casted a game of his on YouTube. I talked to him and got a replay from him.
Oh, okay.
And he showed some really strong play. He's really good at, the micro, the splitting of the Marines, that kind of thing, the Marine tank action. He got out macroed, though, a little bit. So that's kind of like where his little bit of a weakness is. Still a very strong macro player, but a good macro player like Lucky could probably out macro him if he gets any kind of edge early on. It's actually funny that you say that, because that seems to be a trait that a lot of the Slayers Terrans share, is that they all have very good micro, very creative, very complicated openings and builds, but at the same time their macro does seem to suffer kind of in the mid game. All of the Terran Slayers players seem to kind of have that in TVZ. They sacrifice a little bit of macro for the very micro-intensive, high-damage, early, advantage type of play. So yeah. Now, as we can see here, follows through with that. Yeah, as we can see here, TaeJa is going for a very macro overplay. He did go for command center first, so he really wants to macro heavily early on, and even took a little bit of a risk doing so by going for that command center first on a map that's hard to defend your ramp with. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, he should be able to block it off with 3 barracks, so he should be okay, but of course it does leave you vulnerable to, a couple things. I mean, there are players out there that still once in a while do baneling busts, although we hardly ever see it anymore. And, Lucky, I don't know if he's quite the player to want to try that, but I like the idea behind, TaeJa going for this macro advantage. I'm kind of speculating, but he could be, a good reason to do this would be to get kind of a larger army so you could go and take the gold, and then from there begin to try to push across the map and do damage to your opponent. We might see some early pushes here, but generally we see Terrans go for the natural, then the gold on this map, and try to kind of move across that side. Yeah, very likely. Yeah, I don't think we're going to see a baneling bust out of Lucky. He's the kind of player that's going to go for just a more macro-oriented game, and he actually, I mean, plus, especially if it's walled off with 3 barracks, it takes like, I forget the exact number, I think it takes 18 banelings to kill a barracks. Is it really that many? It's a lot of banelings. No, it can't be that many, because they do 80 damage to buildings. That'd be like... I'll double check. But it's maybe it's like less than 18. 7 or 8. I don't know. I don't play Zerg, man. Well, that's why I say it, because I actually had a guy do that, and I tried to best him, and I thought I had plenty of banelings, and I was like, wait a minute. I don't have any banelings left anymore. I'll count it up later on, but not that important. Point being, it takes an economically unfeasible amount of banelings to bust through that wall. Unless your name is Jelizer. Unless your name is Jelizer, then you can. Course. Then it doesn't matter. Then you could have then it doesn't matter at all. 5 barracks deep, 3 in a row, and you can still do it. Yeah. And he'd make it work because he's Jelizer. So Lucky's going to see the bunker going up behind the barracks. He's going to know exactly what he's got to face in TaeJa, and wouldn't be surprised at all to see him do something like take a quicker third after seeing this. Or he could go for a number of other things as well. Got a lot of options. And I do like this. I mean, it seems like in the TVZ, metagame, if you will, that Zerg has gotten a lot more options early game. I mean, with especially with the prevalence of Terrans doing that Hellion expand, it's made roaches much more viable. It's not going to happen this game, but oh, look at that. You guys don't see it because you can't see the production queue right now, but there is a baneling nest on the way. There is a baneling nest. Now, this isn't like... we may actually see it. Oh, he's making a lot of Zerglings, too. You know what? I think we're going to see a baneling bust. All that talk about how Lucky is not going to baneling bust may be proven wrong here in a moment. Now, this isn't like a rush bust because he does have full saturation on both of his bases. It's just kind of a what we often call Keurig-style high economy baneling aggression, and he might just try to bust open that door and go for a kill, though. And there we go. Quite possible. 17 banelings morphing. 17 now.
I don't know if it's because you named that exact number or anything like that. I don't think you need quite that many, but maybe maybe I'm wrong. How many hit points does a barracks have?
1,000 hit points.
1,000. All right, so I guess you could use about that many. Not quite as many, but better safe than sorry because you're always going to lose a couple anyway. And here we go.
Here
the Marine
come.
sees it. And the Banelings are just going to walk right around him, hitting the barracks. And that is plenty, man.
Whoa, and
Not
actually
quite enough to take out the bunker, though.
almost enough to take out the bunker, but a couple of the Banelings did get killed by the Marines before they could land.
Yeah.
So not quite enough there.
Yeah, I guess so.
But you're right. It was less than 18 though. He had I think it's 13 or something for the barracks, and he had a few more for the bunker.
Bunker, right? Yeah.
But see, that's the danger. This is why I didn't think he would do that, because that didn't work, and he just wasted a ton of money, which cost TaeJa 300 minerals to replace those 2 barracks.
Exactly.
And he didn't lose a single other thing. He's fine.
Yeah, that is a big investment, and that's like you're saying, why we don't see this type of thing too often. Because if it doesn't work, suddenly you've spent all this and you don't get a lot out of it. It's kind of like going cloak banshees and then not killing anything, just losing your banshee right away. It's not game ending, but it certainly sets you back a bit. He's probably going to go Mutas out of this, try to do some harassment. He knows that it will be, a little while before the Marine count is built up again by TaeJa, so maybe he can try to capitalize on that. But Lucky's kind of painted himself into a bit of a corner here where he's going to have to be a little bit more defensive for a while.
Yep, and he shouldn't be painting anyways, man. He's a pro gamer, not a painter.
That's true.
He should know better.
Pro gamers are just that talented, man. They can paint, too.
He's multitasking.
He's like the Raphael of the Starcraft world.
Oh, look at this. These Marines are coming down to the 3rd. Is he going to cancel it? It's dead if he doesn't.
Yeah, he's going to need to cancel it. He's going to lose these 2 Overlords as well, as you can see here.
It's going to finish.
Wow, he doesn't want to cancel it.
Oh, he doesn't cancel, but there's a lot of Banelings, and he's backed into a corner now.
Yeah, no stim.
Oh!
Wow, barely enough.
Wow, and you're right.
Baneling and 4 Lings survived that.
No stim was the reason why that didn't work, I think.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Well, that's another thing that Lucky kind of knew, too, is that, you can kind of see that TaeJa didn't really have any tech labs at the front, so Stim was going to be a lot later anyway.
Yeah, well, that was a bit silly to move out at the time, too, because Stim actually was 30 or 40 seconds from completing. If he just waited a little bit longer, then he also would have assured that the hatchery completed.
Definitely a bit of a mistiming there from TaeJa, too. Well,
Lucky, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say. Just going to say how nice the weather is in Belcher Beach. It's a nice day.
That's important to point out.
Yeah.
It's also important to point out that Lucky has basically gotten back what he lost from that failed bust earlier, and so he feels he's ahead and is now trying to take out that gold rocks. Actually, no, he stopped taking out the gold rocks to make more Banelings.
Well, it's going to be really difficult for TaeJa to take a 3rd base. It always is on this map, but it's going to be even more so now that he's lost that big group of Marines.
Yeah. And here comes, speaking of a big group of Marines, here it comes into the 3rd base of Lucky.
3rd base of Lucky. Down to 3rd base of Lucky. There we go.
Oh,
and they do have Stim now.
They do have Stim now, but Banelings are on creep. He's trying to get in close. Now they're off creep, but they get surrounded by Lings. Oh!
Nice pickup by TaeJa, saving everything he could.
Beautiful pickup.
Yeah, really good flank, though, by Lucky to get that surround. The little Zergling Baneling hug.
Yes.
It's not the most comfortable hug ever, but it certainly is memorable. And yeah, I think he's going to have to pick these guys up again, and he does. Loses a Marine, but he's going to be okay. This push, though, it just seems really small. I don't think Lucky's going to have any trouble defending this.
Yeah, there's only the 1 tank in this push, and that is not quite going to be enough to deal with the massive amount of Banelings that Lucky is now morphing in.
Yeah, 30 more Zerglings on the way as well. 36, in fact. Spire almost finished as well, and the thing is, after TaeJa loses his army, suddenly there's going to be Mutas, and he's not going to have a lot to defend with. Oh, he might get this hatchery.
Oh, he might indeed, but the Banelings and Zerglings don't have anything of that. Zerglings come in from behind. Nice little trap, but not quite trappy enough. The Marines do come out ahead on those Banes.
Yeah, not the best engagement at all for FXO Lucky, and now he is in a little bit of trouble here. I think he's going to lose his 3rd base.
He is almost certainly going to lose that 3rd base, actually.
Oh, the Queen's toupee popped off. Just watch for it when they die. Their toupee pops off. Nice target fire on the Baneling there, and suddenly Lucky is in big trouble here. I really, really thought he was going to engage that better. I'm really surprised at this.
Yeah, TaeJa's just going for the kill, though. He actually didn't kill off that third hatchery.
Did you pay?
Oh, he needs to fall back. Whoa, another lift, just barely saving his troops from those banelings. And he never bothered to take the last couple volleys on the hatchery, so TaeJa's still mining at 3 bases.
Well, Lucky's mining at 3 bases. TaeJa might be soon, though.
TaeJa is mining at 3 bases also. But
You're absolutely right.
You're right, I meant Lucky.
But more Marines coming in here, scanning to make sure there aren't any burrow banelings or anything like that. Good splitting here.
Very
saving
nice.
a lot of Marines.
Now, TaeJa, unfortunately, he actually, during that other engagement, he lost his tank, and then he lost a reinforcement tank that was rallied wrong.
Hatchery's going to go down.
So he only has 2 tanks now.
Maybe.
Oh, now it's going to... Getting very low.
A lot of Lings on the way here now, but, you know, with the way TaeJa's trading right now with Lucky, I don't know if it's quite efficient enough to push this back in the end.
No, you can tell Lucky's desperate because he's not even taking the time to morph banelings right now because he has to defend right now. He's going to lose natural hatchery.
He's making 4 mutas as well. I don't think that's going to help him too much.
No.
You know, he might try to go and harass, making 9 mutas actually. And I don't know if this is the best timing, losing his second hatchery.
Yeah, TaeJa has this in the bag, I think, because he's actually 100 supply ahead, and Lucky is supply blocked. He's got a good amount of banelings in the back, but even if he breaks this somehow, some way, magically, even if he somehow gets lucky with a lot of baneling hits, he's not going to have any economy.
Oh, the mute is dying as soon as they pop out. More banelings coming in, but it is not going to be enough. Look at that target fire with the tanks. And this is it. GG. Slayer's TaeJa doing some damage. He's happy about that one.
Doing some very good damage.
Quite the tongue he has as well. And so not the best day for Lucky so far.
No. No, definitely not showing the level of play that was able to take out MMA and Ryung at IPL.
Getting some revenge for his teammates.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, that one engagement where we were talking about the army being really small, I mean, it was. That was a big risk for TaeJa to move out like that. I feel like he did get a little bit lucky to a certain extent that Lucky's engagement wasn't very good. You know, he sent like a little bit in this way and then like a little bit in this way, and, you know, TaeJa was able to micro against that pretty easily. So
well, and I think the moment that saved the game for TaeJa was Zerglings and banelings lift, haha.
Yeah, that helped quite a bit too, absolutely.
He did that a couple times where where he just got his Marines out of the way. Lucky had a beautiful surround with those Zerglings coming in to keep the Marines in place so the banelings could land, and he just lifted them out of the way.
Well, that's 16 Marines, too, that he saved. I mean, that's a big part of that push that came a little bit after that, too. So that absolutely did make a pretty huge difference. So it's starting to look like, we might have some Terrans make it out of this group. We'll have to see. 5-minute break time, guys. Don't go anywhere. Come right back for more GSL up and down matches.